Hey, my name is Maria Lloyd. I am the author of a book titled Words Are Wealth, and I'm also the chief marketing officer of an influencer brand named Black with No Chaser. Now, I'm from the United States, more specifically the southern region of the country, but I am currently in South Africa, and I've been here for a couple of months now. And if you'll recall in my previous video, I specifically mentioned that I love this country, I love the people in this country, but there have been some challenges. And so today I'm going to share one of those challenges with you, more specifically, some drama that occurred with my Airbnb. And I actually am going to make this a series because it's more than one incident, if you will, with relation to Airbnb. But before I get into that, I do have a small favor to ask. You all know it's coming. Would you please like this video and subscribe to this channel? My channel has evolved a bit because I used to primarily speak about business, but this time I decided I want to mix it up a bit. I'm going to share a bit of my experience as an immigrant in South Africa. I want to share a bit of my experience as a business owner in general. And then I also just want to share some general life things, right? So again, please make sure that you like this video and you subscribe to this channel because I am going to be more consistent with uploading content at least on a weekly basis. So let's jump into the drama that happened to me about 2 or 3 months ago here in South Africa as it relates to Airbnb. Now, the backstory of this is that I had booked a unit. And when I got to the unit, one of the main amenities that I usually sort my Airbnb list on was actually not in that unit. So I was quickly forced to get out of there. Now, when I say I was forced to get out of there, I complained to Airbnb, hey, this amenity that I am specifically looking for in my Airbnbs is not here. So I'm going to have to find another unit. Okay, that's fine. But the host wanted me out like immediately, right? And so I'll get into that in another video. But I just wanted to add that context because as I get into this drama, just know that the place that I'm about to share with you in terms of the next place that I stayed in, I was kind of rushed into this space, if you will, because of the situation that had unfolded in the previous Airbnb. So let's jump into it. Okay, so January 17th, it reads, "Good evening, everyone. Sorry to disturb on a Saturday. Me and the person I was with noticed beeping sounds and the monitor in the cabinet is reading 12. Could someone explain to me what this means? Is it safe to assume that once it reaches 0, there is no more electricity?" So the co-host responds and says, "Good evening, Maria. We must top up electricity for you. I will send electricity token now." I said, "Okay. Thank you for your rapid response." Name of the co-host. "Could you explain to me what this means? If it means more charges for us, we're not interested. I'm not from South Africa, so pardon my ignorance. Electricity is charged differently where I come from. And by not interested, it means we'll check out today before 7 p.m. and cancel the remainder of the reservation as not to incur any additional charges. If you kindly explain to me what all of this means so that we can make an informed decision, I'd appreciate it." Now, sidebar. In the United States, more specifically the area that I'm from or the region that I'm from, it is not common to prepay for electricity, right? So this is a brand new concept for me. And so in my experience being an immigrant in this country, I do find that there doesn't seem to be an understanding or even patience for people who are not from here, who don't understand the day-to-day way of life. It's very obvious that I am not from here. As I expressed, I admittedly stated that I'm ignorant when it comes to how things are done. For example, the phrase top up, right? I didn't really understand what that meant. Like, I've heard top off because in the States we may say, okay, I'm gonna top you off, as in like, I'm going to pour your alcohol to the like rim of the glass, if I'm not mistaken. See, I don't even know how it's used in the States, but top up, I don't know what that means, especially in the context of electricity. Like I tried to use context clues to understand, but again, I'm not from here. So we don't do electricity this way. We get a monthly bill. Like I've never had to prepay for electricity a day in my life until I came to South Africa. And this is a brand new process for me. I'm just now starting to prepay for electricity. Otherwise, I was staying in Airbnbs and didn't really have to be bothered with electricity until I got to this stupid Airbnb. So, my point is, like, I admitted, as you all can see, I did admit that I'm ignorant. I don't understand this process. Could you please explain it to me? So, moving right along, the host responds, "Good day, Maria. Kindly check our responses to you. Nowhere did we say we are not interested in your request." Okay. All right. So I responded, "Good day, host. Thank you for your response. Where in my messages have I stated no one is interested in my request? I specifically asked for clarity and explained why I need clarity. Please provide the requested clarification I'm seeking. Otherwise, your message gives a combative tone." Let's just get straight to it, okay? To me, and you all can tell me if I am the a-hole in the situation, but to me, it was very obvious that by this host response, they were annoyed with my, questions or whatever, the way I worded things. So I'm like, listen, just answer the question. If you just give me the clarity I'm looking for, we can bypass all of this and just I'll be able to make an informed decision. Like it's really, it wasn't that deep for me. Excuse me. So moving along, this is when I realized that the host lost the plot, right? Because what the host did is decided to screenshot my messages in response to the co-host and also screenshot the co-host response to me. So first it starts off with the co-host response to me, and then you can see my messages underneath there where I'm actually providing clarity as to why I'm asking the questions in the first place. So if you're looking at the screen, you'll see that the host, when they took the screenshot, they actually underlined where the co-host said, "I will send you electricity token now." And then they put a square around what I said. And by not interested, it means we'll check out today before 7 p.m. So again, you lost the plot, sweetheart, because I'm not saying that your team is not interested in my query. I'm saying that me and the person that I'm with, we're not interested in paying any additional fees. So when the screenshot was sent to me, I'm thinking, this person is lost in this dialogue. Like, I don't understand. How did you not realize that I'm not talking about the team not being interested in my query? I'm talking about me or us not being interested in paying more money. I mean, it was very interesting. It was just weird to me that this person didn't understand that I was not throwing shade at the team. I'm specifically talking about me and my circumstance. So, okay, I responded, "Host, you're missing the part of my message where I stated, if it means more charges for us, we're not interested. I never said you nor any other host is not interested." So the host responds, "Maria, did co-host charge you extra?" in her response. Again, all of this can be settled with a simple response to my question with relation to clarification. Is there an additional fee or not? That's the bottom line, really. I mean, that was literally the bottom line. That is the essence of my question. First of all, what the hell does top up mean? Secondly, is there a fee? Is there a fee? That's all you had to do was answer the question. Is there an additional fee for this topping up thing that you're talking about? And again, me trying to use context clues, I'm assuming top up means like pay into the electricity thing. Okay, that's fine. But what's the fee for that? I don't want to check out of Airbnb and then all of a sudden I have an additional fee that I didn't know about, right? So that was my whole point of inquiring. Could you please provide clarity? If there is an additional charge, we're not interested in paying additional fees. That I thought it was very straightforward. So I then responded, "My gosh, such a nasty response to a tenant. Hello, did you not read where I asked if there is an extra fee? This is why I asked for clarity. What are you missing? I specifically asked, what does it mean? And if it means more fees, we are not interested." Typo. So, okay, I decided in that moment, listen, I don't have to put up with this. I'm not going to go back and forth with someone who is accusing me of something that I did not say. It is in black and white. It's in black and white. All you've got to do is go back and read the responses. So the same thing you told me to do, you need to do that. You need to go back and read the response that I put with relation to the co-host saying that they were going to top up the electricity and send me a token. Go back and read from start to present, and then you'll understand there were no hard feelings whatsoever. I'm just trying to ensure that we're not incurring an additional fee that we don't know about. So then I decided I'm going to cancel this reservation. I'm not going to put up with some nasty host with a really bad attitude going off on me and accusing me of something I did not say. I think that's the biggest thing that bothered me with this interaction. Nobody likes to be falsely accused. I feel like that is one of the most painful experiences as a human being, especially when you know that you operate from a place of integrity. Nobody wants to be accused of something that they did not do or say. And so I welcome you all being very honest with me and telling me if I'm the a-hole in this discourse, because I felt like, listen, you keep pressing this thing. I've already clarified the little screenshot that you sent me. There's a misunderstanding here. I've already clarified that. And you're still kind of leaning into this theory that I was accusing you and your team of not being interested in my query, which was so far from the truth. So nevertheless, I said, I never said anyone here is not interested. I also never said that there is a fee. I asked for clarity. Hello, what is your problem? Combative tone, but no response to my request for clarity. Disgusting and unprofessional behavior from a host. Yuck. Again, at this point, I'm fed up because I'm like, you're not answering the fundamental question. Let me tell you all, one of the biggest things that annoys me is when I ask a very direct question and then I get the zigzag. I struggle to keep up with responses that don't get to the answer to my question. So the way that my brain is wired, I ask a direct question. My brain is looking for that response to the question. So if you're going to pad the response with like a bunch of fluff, my brain doesn't really quite capture that. But the moment that I do hear a response to the question, I'm locked in. And in this case, all I needed to know is there an additional charge for the electricity? That's all I needed to know. Could you explain to me what does top up mean? And is there an additional fee for this topping up thing? That's it. If those questions would have been answered, and we could have even forgotten about the whole top up thing because I used context clues to get to understand what that was about. If we could have just simply gotten to the answer of, is there an additional fee for the electricity in this Airbnb unit? All of this could have been avoided. Okay. But again, I welcome you all to give me your honest feedback and tell me if you felt I was the a-hole in this circumstance. So the host responds after I cancel and says, the electricity units that we provided were adequate for your stay. Should they deplete, kindly be advised that you would be liable to top up. Here we go with the phrase top up again. Our electricity is capped. You can find this information, number 1, under our listing description, number 2, in this message thread, number 3, under our house manual, number 4, in our house rules. So I responded, thanks. That's why I sought clarity. I've canceled. We're packing up to leave. Now just imagine if this answer would have been provided to me from the onset, how we could have avoided all that other extra stuff. And this is why I wanted clarity, because I could have sworn when I had booked my stay at this unit, somebody complained in the reviews saying that they felt it was ridiculous that this host forces the tenants to pay for electricity. And so I had forgotten though, because again, as I mentioned previously, I came to this unit in a haste, right? And this unit actually did have pretty good reviews, but again, when I read a few of the comments, I do remember one person in particular did complain, like, it's ridiculous that I'm expected as a short-term tenant to pay for the electricity. It's crazy. And that's why I didn't book this unit in the beginning. But again, in my haste from the previous drama and in another unit, I just, I hurried up and booked it. And then after the fact, I was like, I think this was the unit that forces people to pay for electricity. So that's why I wanted clarity. And then two, I was confused because when the co-host responded and offered to provide a token, they didn't specify if there was pay, if there was an additional fee. So in my head, I'm thinking, I know I read somewhere that there is an additional fee for this, but this person is not saying this. So again, I don't want to get hit with an additional fee on the day of checkout. And also, what's not mentioned in this particular dialogue or discourse is that this unit had roaches in it. So it was very interesting because I've actually never seen roaches be this clever in my life. But these were some very smart roaches. Like, these were some 2026 roaches, right? These roaches they came like with the game plan. They were born, I guess their ancestors told them like, yo, this is how we got killed back in the day. This is what you can do to avoid that. So what was very interesting to me about the roaches at this particular Airbnb is that they literally only came out at night. Now, those of you who have had the unfortunate experience of being in a home that's infested with roaches, you know that, yes, they do come out in mass at night, but you will see remnants of roaches during the daytime. Like, you're going to know, okay, this place has roaches. You're going to see at least one or two roaches crawling around in the daytime because they just crazy. I guess they were just the bait. So these roaches never, ever, ever, I never saw these roaches during the daytime. I only saw them at night. And even still, I wouldn't say it was an infestation because when I would see them at night, there would be like a handful, like maybe 5 roaches. Either way, let me tell you, your girl, I grew up in the South, almost in like a farm-like setting, but I don't do insects at all. I don't do insects. That is just not my thing. I don't want to share space with them. I respect them so long as they stay outside. So if the roaches were outside of the door, that's another thing. I'm not going to kill them. Hey, you stay out here. I'll be inside minding my own business. We good. We good. But it's when they come inside, I'm like, game on. I don't want to see you. I don't want you in here. Yeah, I'm getting itchy just thinking about it because I'm disgusted. I don't like insects, right? So with that being said, that is the part that is missing from this dialogue. I'm like, you got a nasty attitude. You did not answer my question from the onset. And on top of that, you got roaches. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get on up out of here. And it's funny because I only had like 2 more nights left in this particular unit. So the person I was with was like, hey, it's not that big of a deal. Just stay here. Like, we could just stay here. It's just 2 more nights. Who finna stay 2 more nights with this hostile host and these roaches, these smart roaches that's coming out, these smart 2026 roaches coming out at night? No, thank you. I'm not interested. So we left. Now, here's where the host got even more petty. You needed a code to enter and exit this particular unit. The host canceled the code before we left. So when the Uber driver shows up, I had already texted the Uber driver the code, right? And they called me. They're like, ma'am, this code is not working. And so I'm irritated because I'm already annoyed with this stupid, dialogue that just occurred. So I'm like, I sent you the code. Like, I'm getting snappy with the Uber driver. I felt so bad. We tipped him well, don't worry. But, and I did apologize to him. But I'm annoyed with the Uber driver. I'm like, hey, I've already sent you that information. He's like, ma'am, security is saying that code is expired. Oh, that code is expired because the petty host went and canceled the code before we left the premises. Very petty and silly. So I had to go back into the messaging part of the Airbnb app and say, what is the code for our Uber driver to get in and pick us up? The security said the code is expired. Excuse me. The co-host responded and said, I will send another one right away. Took about maybe 4 minutes, as you can see here on the screen. The co-host responded at 7:05 and gave me the code at 7:09. Now, I sent my initial message. So in total, it was about 6 minutes. Okay. All right, cool. That's 6 minutes of the Uber driver waiting, though. So keep that in mind. So they sent me the code, and, we went on about our way. And so, of course, I was asked to provide a review for my stay, which I did. I was happy to do, actually. And what I decided was, while I did focus on the actual unit itself, the fact that it had roaches, and also there were just other things, like it just wasn't well cleaned. Yeah, I could tell that this particular host does the absolute bare minimum, right? Even to the point where the unit has a washer in it, a dishwashing machine. I'm sorry. So not an actual, it does have a washer in it for clothes, but it also has a dishwashing machine. So you don't have to manually wash your dishes. You can just throw them in the machine and be done with it. So I sent a message to the host because I'm like, did anybody replenish the pods for the dishwasher? And also we were missing, there was no toilet paper. I think they only gave one roll, and this particular stay was for a week. Come on, people. One roll for a week. Give me a break. 2 adults, a woman at that. Not to get too graphic, but we have menstrual cycles and things like that we need lots of toilet paper. One roll for 2 adults over an 8-day period is not going to cut it. That is really cheap and silly. So what occurred is I messaged them. I'm like, hey, first of all, where are the trash bags? That was another thing. There weren't any trash bags in the unit. There were no pods for the dishwashing machine. There was only one roll of toilet paper. And the host responded and said, please note that on our description for this unit, we say that the tenant is responsible for their own pods to wash the dishes. Now, I've been renting properties on Airbnb for over 10 years now. I have never in my life, prior to staying at this property, been expected to bring my own pods for the dishwashing machine. The washing machine, yes. To wash my clothes, absolutely. It is extremely rare that I've stayed in a unit where the host actually provides the washing detergent for my clothes. So I always pack pods with me. But to pack pods for a dishwashing machine, are you silly? Who does that? Nobody does that. So I was really flabbergasted that this person responded in that way. And then also, I just want to be clear that when I went back and read the description or the extra notes, if you will, for this property, the way that it was written, it actually was not clear that they were referring to the dishwashing machine. It just said that tenants are responsible for their own detergent. Well, detergent oftentimes is used to describe the soap that we use to wash our clothing, not necessarily to wash the dishes. So again, just a lot of little sassy, rude responses to my questions when I'm being pleasant as best as I can. Again, you all can tell me if I'm being the a-hole, if I'm not being pleasant, but I felt that I was really being pleasant to these people and wanting to just simply understand. I am an immigrant. I am not from here. I'm going to have questions, people. This is your day to day. This is all new to me. I'm like a kid, right? Coming fresh out the womb. I don't understand a lot of these things. So when I ask you questions and you get defensive, that tells me that something is wrong with you. Either you're trying to hide something or I'm pressing on a button that I didn't even know exists. That's something you got to deal with. That's something between you and you. Me, I'm just asking questions out of ignorance. I'm ignorant. I'm new here. I don't understand things. So I have questions. I need clarification. So now we'll just go on to what this host wrote about me, which infuriated me because, again, I've been on Airbnb for over 10 years and I have never gotten a negative review from a host. never in over 10 years, and staying in Airbnbs in several different countries, by the way. So this host leaves me a review saying the way Maria left her previous reservation to come to my home should have been a red flag about the kind of person she is. Very distasteful in her communication and upright disrespectful. In my efforts to understand why she laid a complaint, she just got angry. She questioned our house rules and told us if we dare enforce them, she would cancel. Not a pleasant guest to host. She has to deal with her anger issues. Really, 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 really disgusting review written by a host. This thing here was flooded with lies because first and foremost, even her talking about me leaving the previous reservation, I was very transparent with her before I booked at her place about why I was leaving the previous reservation. And again, I'm going to explain to you what that reason was in another video, okay? And it wasn't even that deep, just to let you all know. Like, don't think it was like some crazy drama, like something popped off. It wasn't. It was not. We're talking about a discrepancy over an amenity. So the way that this is written, as if like I just had a trail of drama following me, is really, really just very disturbing and very upsetting. And saying that my communication was upright, disrespectful, which it should have been outright, by the way. But anyway, outright disrespectful and distasteful. Okay, again, you all can let me know if I was the a-hole. But if you keep accusing me of something I did not do or say, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna get very upset about that. I am. This other sentence, in my efforts to understand why she laid a complaint, she just got angry. This one really is so wild to me because it's actually the opposite. So first of all, I didn't lay a complaint. I asked a question. I asked for clarity, and I didn't get angry because she tried to understand. I became very disappointed and upset because she misunderstood what I was saying, even after I provided further clarity. That's it. She questioned our house rules and told us if we dare enforce them, she would cancel. That is not true. I questioned the house rule to the extent of, do I have to pay for this? It was just a simple yes or no question. And if we dare enforce them, she would cancel. Well, it wasn't a dare. It's just me acknowledging that, hey, I think that there is a fee for this. And if there is, I'm going to cancel. That's not a dare. I followed your policy. This was your policy. I had up until that particular time frame to cancel without losing money. So it wasn't a dare. I'm just letting you know what my intentions are. And then not a pleasant guest to host. That's fine. That's her opinion. She has to deal with her anger issues. This one really, really was sickening to me because this person looked to be like a non-black person based on the image I saw. So either colored or African. And those of us from the U.S. know that there is a big time stereotype about the angry black woman. So I don't know if that exists here in South Africa. You all can let me know in the comments if that's a thing. But when I read that, I will admittedly say that it triggered me because I'm like, really? So you think I'm the angry black woman? Okay, cool. So what does that make you? Like, what are you in this situation? Because I asked a very clear question and I was instead met with hostility and a combative tone. So where do you fall in this whole situation? Is it just me? Like I'm just the crazy, angry black woman? No, like it just, so my point in sharing this is number one, if anybody is interested in knowing what property that is, do feel free to reach out to me directly. I will happily share the listing with you so that you can avoid this property and you can avoid this host, because this person is really nasty and is not accommodating, especially to foreigners. So if you are curious to know who this person is, again, just message me directly, whether on Facebook or Instagram, and I will happily let you know who this person is. Because as far as I'm concerned, this individual has no business whatsoever hosting any properties on Airbnb. And if you're curious to know how this was settled with regard to Airbnb support, because I did report this review. I did. I told Airbnb, look, this seems to be a retaliatory review of me. If you go and look at my history of reviews, no host has ever referred to me as angry, unpleasant, disrespectful, none of these adjectives that this person used to describe me. So my hope was that Airbnb would just say, listen, you two didn't get along, because they can read the thread of correspondence between us. My hope was that we would just kind of cancel each other out. Like, look, y'all didn't get along. We'll remove this review. We'll remove your review from this unit. And that's it, from this listing rather. But that's not what happened. Airbnb denied my appeal for them to remove this review, which was very disappointing. But again, maybe I'm the a-hole. People, you let me know in the comments, am I the a-hole in this situation? What could I have done to be a bigger and or quote unquote better person in this circumstance? I am open to the feedback. I will take heed to that. Yeah, just let me know. What are your thoughts about this whole situation? And also, do not forget to like this video, to subscribe to this channel. As I mentioned, I do have a couple more Airbnb drama stories in me, so I will be sharing those in another video. But you're not going to know about that if you don't subscribe to the channel. So make sure you subscribe, and you'll be notified as soon as I share that content. Thank you for being here. As always, I really appreciate you all. And until next time, take good care.